Hello and welcome to this new blog post where I want to show you a process mining hack. And short agenda. What I want to illustrate you is how we can use one-click process mining. What the problem is with this one-click process mining, I will show you a hack, how you can circumvent this problem, and then I will give you a summary and outlook what we are doing in the following post based on this hack. So let's have a look. First of all, you might have seen process mining if you just tried it. Yeah? Then you go here to Power Automate, you select a flow, whatever flow you have, and then once you have a couple of runs, you can click here this process mining preview in my case, and then you get this analysis. Yeah? So very easy, super simple, nothing special. Everybody can do that. Yeah? But there is a problem with that. And the problem is this kind of analysis is a one-time analysis. So if you do another 20 flow runs and want to see the new data here, then you always have to click on the refresh button. There's no automatic update. And that's okay if you have a single flow, but if you have 20 or 30, then this is getting a nightmare. Okay, and then I thought, hey, how can we fix this? And well, to fix it, I created a simple Power Automate flow. And this is the simplest one I can find. Here's a manual trigger. I get the weather forecast and then I hold these conditions. Very simple. Once I have this, I click the button to get my process mining analysis. And then I did not want to, run this manual analysis all the time, but I want to have it automated. And to do that, I needed the flow runs. And if you know that the process mining or the flow runs have a button that allow you to download the flow run history. And that's what I did here. So I've downloaded the flow run history. Yeah. And then I said, okay, hey, I can get a CSV file. But a CSV file, well, that's not that good because, well, this requires a lot of manual interaction. So I thought, hey, let's use this inspection feature here on the right hand side. So in my case, I press F12. Not sure how it is in your browser, but you can track here the network and what's going on if you click that button. And let me zoom that to show you, because if you press that button, there's a URL or a post request trigger that basically exports this data. And what I did in my case was just, okay, I said, hey, let's have a look at the flow runs and then export it. And this can be done in an automatic fashion. So I just run here the highlighted invoke a HTTP request with this URL. Then I pass JSON, have a couple of in-between steps, but the most important thing is then here I get the download link. From this download link, I convert the content into base64 and then I create a file on, let's say, SharePoint, OneDrive, whatever you have. And now I do not need to download this CSV file, do something. I have it just there on OneDrive in my case. That's the result. So I basically saved the download and upload button. But now, once I have that, I created a new data flow. Why? Because I have the file with the flow runs on OneDrive. I manipulate the data, so basically I sort it, filter it, resort it, switch column and rows until I get this nice file that I can then use for process mining. So this file or this data flow will write the flow runs into this table, and then once I have this, I can automate it. So once my data flow is created, I can say, hey, do it every morning, do it every hour, do it whenever. First step that I'm doing, I delete the old records and then I execute this data flow. Next thing, once I have this done, have the table, the data, the flow run data in Dataverse, then I can use here a new process mining flow. That's something I created manually. I link it to my Dataverse table and then I said execute it. And that's the result that I got. And the advantage of doing this is that this analysis is updated every morning in my case. So you do not have to do anything. You just open this up every morning and you have the latest data inside. Okay, and that's what I want to show you quickly in my demo system before we come back here for closing remarks. Okay, so here is the flow that I created and that I want to analyze. It's manually triggered. It gets the forecast for Frankfurt and then I hold the conditions. And what I showed you in the PowerPoint slide is basically if you click on all runs, you can download the flow runs here. I think for the last 28 days, if I'm not wrong. So there's a history on that and then it will automatically be deleted. But 28 days is sufficient for me. Then the other thing that I did is at the beginning, I clicked on this button and I got this result. So that's it. And this never changes. If I do 100 runs more, it does never change. And to make this automatically changing or updating is I created here this flow, the one that I showed you, with here the invoke an HTTP request. And then the important step is here the get the download link, convert it, and here is the formula. Base64 to string and then the content, and then you create a file. This file is then created here. I did a couple of tests, not only one. Oh, now I have to move this recording tool. So here is the flow run history. And then once I have this, I create a data flow. And that's my data flow. So it starts here. Here at the first, you see the CSV document here on OneDrive. And then I do a lot of rearranging, moving columns, rows, and so on. Then I merge it. And then at the end of the day, I have this kind of data. If I click next, then you will see the data table, the database table that I use to enter these values. It's basically this one. So here I have an automatic number, start, run ID, end, and so on. All of the values that I want to have. And with this data, I can then run an analysis. But of course, I want to have this automated, and I want to have it automated in a way that I am not influenced by the old values. So I have here another flow. This one takes the rows first from this table, then it deletes the old values and executes or triggers this data flow that fills in the new values. So very easy. And once that's filled in, you can get here this process mining result in an automatic way. So if I go here, then you see in the data source, this is this automatic refresh, the refresh settings. The minimum is currently, as of the recording, 1 day. So you can update this only 1 day, every morning, 6 o'clock or whenever you need it. Or you click on that. Well, not sure if you want to do that, but the idea is to have a more frequent update cycle. Another thing that I want to highlight here is this thing here. So I have step 1, step 2. You see I have in total 7 runs. And there's one run that seems to jump directly to step 2. Why is that? Well, if you look at my flow, then maybe it's not the best because you see it runs in milliseconds. And so basically the date time format that I selected has only seconds. And seems that the second step and the first step were executed and ended at the same time in one run. Therefore it looks like this. Ideally it should be like this. So step 1, step 2. But because of the short duration of my demo flow, it looks a bit, for one execution, a bit strange. But it's not an issue in my case, especially if you have many runs. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint, because what I showed you here is just the basis of what I want to do in the next blog posts. So let's have a look. Okay, so after this short demo, let's have a look at what is next. So as a summary, first of all, I would like to thank Jonas because he helped me to debug, test, and apply the data extraction flow. Where I tried something and got stuck, and he came and said, hey, try this, and then it worked. So thanks a lot. The other thing that I want to share is this post that shows how to set up and configure this HTTP connector and what we entered here in these fields. So check it out. And then in the next post, I want to do two things. First thing is I want to combine multiple separate Power Automate flows. So just imagine you have different Power Automate flows, yeah, for separate processes. Yeah? Might be related to your ERP, might be related to something else, but they are separate. Yeah? And now your manager comes and says, hey, show me the analysis of all of these different flows. And then, hey, how can you do that? Yeah? Of course, the solution will be based on what I showed you. Yeah? And that will be part of the next post. And then, of course, I want to link it to Dynamics 365 or SAP or whatever you have that make use of such kind of Power Automate flows, and show you how you can analyze different separate Power Automate flows together. But for today, that's all what I wanted to share with you. So if you have a comment, if you have a question, if you want to leave something, send me an email, post a comment either here on this website, or you can also do this in YouTube, where I just have a new channel that I open. Thanks a lot for watching and listening, and then till next time.